Sefer Zechariah opens with a message that I think is very relevant to us today. The people of Bavel are living one life, and the people of Eretz Yisrael are already in the midst of building the Beis HaMikdash. The second Beis HaMikdash is underway, and the people of Bavel have a question. We have been fasting all these years on Tisha B'Av over the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. Now that you, my friends in Eretz Yisrael, that you are rebuilding that Beis HaMikdash, do we fast? Do we continue fasting on Tisha? And so Anshe Bavel send a mishlachat, they send a group to Eretz Yisrael to ask them this great question. And the message goes to Zechariah, and now we turn to Zechariah Perek Ches. And he has a nevuah. At first, Zechariah's nevuah does not answer the question directly, but turns to the people with the prophecy, I don't really care. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers them in a very charif, very sharp, and biting criticism. It's your choice. You eat, you don't ask me about that. You drink, did you ask me about that? You decide not to eat, not to drink. The things that I have commanded you, tzedakah mishpat, to take care of one another, to be faithful and honest to one another, those are the things I have demanded, and I have not seen your part. So if you want to know my input, the Rebbeim Shalom responds, first deal with that which I request. Then in Perek Ches, Zechariah actually has nevuah which directly answers their question. And the pasuk reads, Ko amar Hashem tzvakos. Another nevuah. Here is now your answer. Tzom haravi, v'tzom hachamishi, v'tzom hashavi, v'tzom ha'asiri. These 4 fast days, not related to Yom Kippur. This not including Megillas Esther and Tainis Esther. The 4 fast days that relate to Churban Bayis. Tzom haravi, Tzom hachamishi, Tzom hashvi, and Tzom ha'asiri. Kwalwasser v'Tammuz, Tisha B'Av, Tzom Gedalia, and Asar B'Teves. Yiyeh lebeis Yehuda l'sason u'lesimcha. It will become a joyous time. All 4 of these days will become joyous. The answer, seemingly, is right now you're rebuilding. You're not yet at that stage. You can not yet celebrate. You're in your land, those that are in Eretz Yisrael. Those that are not yet here are in Bavel. No one can yet celebrate. But there will be a day that those fast days will turn into a sasan and simcha. And then the nevuah continues describing what those days will be like. That means that there could be a time that we are in our land and be fasting. There could be a time that we have our own sovereignty and we could still be fasting. The Gemara has a fascinating explanation of this idea. And it tells us like this. There are good times, there are bad times, and there's in between. It's not too bad, it's not all that great. When it's great, it's a celebration. When it's terrible, it's a fast day. When it's not all that terrible, but not perfect, do what you want. The Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam make it clear it's no longer do as you want, do as you wish. We still fast. So let's review. If we attain the Geula, then these fast days become celebration days. If it's not the perfected state, then they're still fast days. The Ben Ish Chai writes on this Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, Daf Yud Chet Amud Bet. The Ben Ish Chai tells us that technically it could flip back and forth. It can go from a fast day to the rebuilding of the second Bein HaMikdash with full sovereignty, at which point we have a celebration, 4 days of celebration, and then upon its destruction it goes and reverts back to 4 fast days. And on, this can happen repeatedly throughout history. You can flip back to celebration and then back once again to fast. And therein lies my question. What are these fast days? They're over the first Beis HaMikdash's destruction. If they turn into a celebration because now the second Beis HaMikdash was rebuilt, and the second Beis HaMikdash unfortunately was destroyed, so now have fast days related to the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash. When was the second Beis HaMikdash laid under siege? When was the second Beis HaMikdash? When did that fall? When did the second Beis HaMikdash have a problem with water and wood? But we revert back to the 4 fast days that relate to the first Beis HaMikdash? I don't understand. Those turned into a celebration because they weren't relevant anymore. Now that it's a bad time again in Am Yisrael, we go back to the 4 fast days of the first Beis HaMikdash? Why would you do that? The yeshiva, just a few years ago when we were on Har Herzl for Yom HaZikaron, we met Benny Gantz, chief of staff, and he told the group, he told the yeshiva, that this battle that we are constantly fighting against terror did not start with the second intifada, did not start with the first intifada. It started in 1948 and has continued ever since. It's all one battle, and we just haven't finished that battle. In truth, this battle did not start in 1948. It started with the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. And I believe that is what the Gemara is trying to get at. That is the Nevuah. We are still being given the message by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whenever Am Yisrael is in a bad state, those messages that I told you, work on emes, work on mishpat, tzedakah v'chesed, to act with faithfulness and honesty, to care about the Ribbon Shalom, have God consciousness in your every day and minute of existence. All the messages that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us about with the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash, whenever we are plagued, those are ever present. That is the battle, the situation, that galus that we were plagued with. We are hit and reminded over and over again with that very message. We're going into the 3 weeks now, once again with a heavy state of existence, with a lot of sadness facing Am Yisrael. And it calls every one of us to a mission, to remember that those 4 fast days that we have remind us of our mission in this world that we have not yet attained, the mission of keeping HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our lives, every aspect, that which He tells us, Bein Adam l'Chaveiro, Bein Adam l'Makom, in order to attain the ultimate continuation of Zechariah's Nevuah, which is the return of Am Yisrael in its fullest glory and state. Bezrat Hashem, She'yibaneh B'mehera B'in.